and welcome to part 3 of my road trip through Japan. So after we visited Hiroshima, we drove all the way up to Tamano and we stayed at a little Airbnb there. And the reason we were staying there was to visit the islands of Teshima and Naoshima, which are two art islands with a bunch of museums and things like that on them. We really didn't have a lot of time to visit those islands, but my sister somehow managed to put together a schedule and we got to visit a lot of stuff in the short time that we had. So first thing in the morning, we jumped on a ferry and we went to the island of Teshima. When we got there, we stopped at this tiny little general store and we talked to the lady that owned it, and she was really nice, and she actually gave us some fruits that were growing in a tree in her backyard, Japanese plums, and that was really cool. And later when we were walking around, we found that these plums were actually growing everywhere, which was kind of cool. So yeah, after that we walked to the Teshima Museum, which actually only has one artwork in it. It is the one. Unfortunately, we couldn't take pictures freely. It wasn't really allowed, but the artwork itself was really cool. It was this dome with giant circles in the roof, and the entire floor was hydrophobic, and tiny little tubes would spew out water, and then the water would drip and flow on the floor, and then it would drain into other tubes, and the entire place echoed so loudly. So you were at one end and you would hear the water dripping down on the other side of this massive place, and it was really impressive. As we walked to the other end of the island, there was a few more artworks here and there. We visited this house that really played on like colors, that had this red panel and everything outside looked completely red. It was very cool. And after we finished visiting those little places, we got on a ferry and we went to the island of Naoshima. This island had a lot of different little artworks all over. We visited the Chichu Art Museum, which was really cool. The entire museum is basically underground. There was this incredible artwork from James Turrell that looked like there was a screen on the wall, but as you climb up the stairs, you could go through into the room, and you were inside this room, and it's impossible to explain exactly how it was, and it was really, really cool. Unfortunately, once again, we weren't really free to take pictures like we wanted, and the experience was very structured, which kind of clashed with the art, and that's what my sister was telling me, like, this is really not how you should be experiencing these artwork, like being told to stand here, to take this many steps, to stop, turn around. This was not, well, like, not the way that this should have been experienced. It kind of took away from like viewing these artworks. But even with those restraints that were kind of getting in the way, this museum was really impressive. The most impressive museum I've seen in my life, for sure. We stopped briefly at the Benici house. We looked at some of the artworks there as well. And yeah, we spent just the rest of the day exploring this island. And yeah, that was basically the end of our road trip. The next day we drove to Kyoto, and we stayed with my friend Allison. Thank you, Allison, for hosting us for the night. And then after that we drove back to Niigata. And yeah, this was really an awesome road trip, and I am so glad to have gotten to see all those places. And a special, like, huge thank you to my sister, who organized the grand majority of it and drove with me all the way through this. If you guys ever get the opportunity to road trip through Japan, I hope these videos have given you some ideas or some inspiration. That's it for this video, and I will see you around. Bye, guys!